On October 6, 2006, or 15 years ago yesterday, I received the first death threat. It was 3 days after the gruesome killing of Obispo Maximo Alberto Ramendo. The gist of the text message I received was that they are going to kill me as a sample in my city. For if they had killed the late Obispo Maximo, they could also kill me easily. I know that it was meant to stop me from doing my advocacy and defense for people's and human rights, but I never stopped. I thought it was the most terrifying, life-threatening experience then, but it was not. Because I did not stop, it happened repeatedly even during the time of President Benigno Aquino, which include, among others, the ransacking of my modest sleeping quarter in Pagadian Cathedral and my satellite office in Lanao del Norte. The worst was in the year 2018. In June, I was visited by no less than the battalion commander of the Philippine Army in the area, who tried to convince me and even warned me to stop my visits to the Lumad communities in Zamboanga del Sur. It was 2 days after I led a fact-finding mission together with the National Council of Churches in the Philippines, the United Church of Christ in the Philippines, and the Rural Missionaries of the Philippines, and other local peace and human rights groups in Western Mindanao. Still, I did not stop. In September to November of that same year, we discovered paintings on the walls of my church, in the highways, waiting sheds, bridges, and many other places in the provinces of Zamboanga del Sur and Misamis Occidental, accusing me to belong to the New People's Army, the armed wing of the Communist Party of the Philippines. In December of that year, until the whole year of 2019, are placards, streamers, leaflets found in churches and anywhere in Cagayan de Oro and the whole of northern Mindanao with the same content of vilification and red tagging. In the year 2020 and until today, my name is also included in social media vilification and attacks, red tag, that I belong to the communist terrorist group. My experience is just part of the attacks that happened and is still happening in the many church people and churches, which is violative of the freedom of religion enshrined not only in our Philippine Constitution, but also of the internationally signed covenants on human rights and people's rights. And this happened to us, church people, because of our ministry that serves and fights for freedom and human dignity, along with the poor peasants, workers, urban poor, indigenous, and even the Moro people, and all the marginalized and oppressed by the state forces, and bastardized by no less than the president of the country, who is likened to a devil incarnate. Jeremiah the prophet reminded the people, "Do not be afraid of the king of Babylon, as you have been. Do not be afraid of him, says the Lord, for I am with you to save you and rescue you from his hand. In Jeremiah chapter 42, verse 11. Yes, we are not afraid. We must not be afraid. Many of us have been killed, arrested, and imprisoned with trumped up charges, red tagged, vilified. But we believe and are hopeful that with our courage, God will not only rescue us, but we will triumph over the evils in our society, led by the King in Malacanang Palace. We must continue to work in solidarity with as many individuals and organizations in the national and the international level by initiating and participating in independent investigations and fact-finding missions such as the investigative or investigate PAs. We shall continue to challenge the United Nations Human Rights Council to pass appropriate resolutions that help the victims of human rights abuses and violations in the country, instead of giving the Duterte government a chance to a bogus investigation that aimed at whitewashing reports and the state of the country's human rights situation. We must continue to work and support the efforts in the International Criminal Court until Duterte is arrested and seen languishing in his prison cell. Prophets of our time, do not be afraid of the King of Malacanang, for with us are legions of people in the countrysides and urban centers, the diaspora Filipinos, and the internationalists who are courageous enough to fight for social emancipation, genuine freedom, and democracy. Mabuhay, Pilipino!